Welcome to the Mind on Recovery podcast. This is the intro to episode 3, where this week we discuss spirituality with our guest star and friend, Naeemah. This is one of our better episodes, I have to say. We're both pretty spiritual beings, but how she and I practice that, or how we get our metaphorical spiritual cup filled, if you will, are via completely different routes. Different, but yet one and the same. Without further ado, here's episode 3 with Naeemah on spirituality. Enjoy! Welcome to the Mind on Recovery podcast. I still almost forget the new name. But I am your host, Zoe, and this is my guest star, Miss Naeemah.
Hello!
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
You made it. Naeemah is my friend from the rooms, my sister from another mister, and previous housemate. Shit.
Yes.
Business associate sometimes.
Right.
Yeah,
All the things.
all of them things. And I know you're a avid supporter, so I definitely wanted to get you on, especially for the topic of spirituality, because I know you about your spiritualness.
I'm excited.
Yes. Okay, but before we dig into that, let's try to pull out some positive news stories. Okay, this isn't positive, but Amazon acknowledges issue of drivers urinating in bottles in apology to congressmen. Have you heard about this?
No, I have not.
I heard
horror.
I heard about this like a year ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was I?
I don't know.
I'm missing in action.
It was a thing though. They're warehouse people, and now they're saying they're drivers.
Oh, my.
It's hard for them to find restrooms, so they'll just pee in a bottle.
I mean, that makes sense with everything being shut down, but you would think right about now as everything's open up, maybe the problem will decrease a little.
Maybe. Just the fact that I heard it a while ago from the warehouse, and it's still going on. They were doing this in the warehouse. The warehouse, there's kind of less of an excuse.
Right.
The warehouse got bathrooms.
Right.
So
now that's just hood. Somebody just didn't have no home training.
No home training. What they was trying to say is they've been working them too hard. Or they work them too hard. Amazon people no, you can't take a break.
They have to meet their quota.
Their quotas.
Got you.
Mm-hmm. We know all about quotas.
So they don't have a union then?
No.
Oh, maybe we should work on a union.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't think Mr. Bezos would appreciate that. But yeah, I don't know. Amazon has been one of those companies that people say, oh, work for them. They're really good. Get good benefits and stuff. And while I feel a part of that's true, yes, they pay okay, benefits here and there, but that P story just always stuck in my mind. I don't want to be worked half to death.
Right.
For what?
Right. Yeah, that really doesn't make any sense for them to still be going through that after a year. Who's paying attention to these issues now?
Yeah. No one. Not like I could be a driver anyway with my DUIs, but...
Oh, well, you know what? Neither could I with my 3.
Moving on.
Moving right along.
All right, this one, you can't choose an afterlife, but you can choose what happens to your body after your life. So there's this Washington-based business, Recompose, and they've begun making it from a new ingredient, making the compost from a new ingredient. Human remains.
My God.
Thoughts?
I cannot. I cannot. What the world?
Yeah. It takes a couple...
No.
It takes a couple months from corpse to compost. Yeah.
I am flabbergasted. Is it really that serious? I'm
like, why not?
Wait a minute.
I don't know.
You're like, why not?
Yeah.
Compost? I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay, maybe not compost, but I have had conversations with my mother. Like, if I do go before you, God forbid, I would like to be in some type of situation where I go back into the earth. Maybe like a cardboard box or something. But I don't want to be in like a stainless steel 24 karat coffin slash safe. I want to go back into the system. I don't know. Is that weird?
Well, no. I mean, everybody. Yeah, different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? I like the 24 karat gold coffin.
Okay.
I would like to go out in style and
Yeah.
shebang. Hopefully, the grave robbers ain't gonna come snatch my coffin and all the 24 caratness off of it. But
I mean,
I would definitely like to have the traditional burial site, with my little name on the marquee, or maybe a statue of me in a certain little pose. You know what I'm saying? I was here. Anyway.
Some LED lights at the bottom.
You know what I'm saying? Douche, 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 douche.
Right.
Like,
right. That's an interesting ass question. I should make that a permanent question for people.
Yeah,
like, how do you want?
No, how do you feel?
Where do you want your remains to go?
Right.
Cremation is hot.
I don't believe in cremation and everything. I don't believe in the firing or the burning of anything.
Right.
But yeah, no, I'd have to go the traditional way.
Okay.
Like, I wouldn't want to be dumped overboard off of the boat.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
And I don't know. I thought when you brought up this segment, I thought you were going to talk more about what are people freezing each other, or like freezing people to cryo preservation.
Yeah. To thaw them out later.
Yeah, thaw them out later once.
No.
Yeah, no.
I told you I was gonna hit you with this news. I got some news for you.
But on the cryopreservation,
yeah.
I don't know. I might want to come back though.
Okay,
yeah.
So no fire, but ice is cool.
Yeah, freeze me, as long as I can come back.
I'm not even lying. I can't even lie. Yeah, if we found out how to do it, yeah, I would want to.
Yeah. I want to see how I come back. Hopefully not like a zombie.
Right. You can't stop drooling and shit.
Right.
One eye cocked open. Great grandkids like, huh?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, I don't know though. This isn't, I wouldn't be a spring chicken anymore. I don't know.
Right. All right. That's we're gonna go ahead and leave that afterlife topic in the afterlife. And that was our news stories, positive news stories. That last one was kind of positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, our topic today is spirituality. Okay, so just textbook definition first, and then we'll take a break and go with our own personal experiences on the matter. Okay. Spirituality, according to who? According to who? Because that's important. Google. Spirituality says the quality of being concerned with the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. Okay, that was from Oxford Languages. Wikipedia says traditionally spirituality referred to a religious process of reformation which aims to recover the original shape of man. Ellipses. They got some more on that. And then one that I kind of lean more towards, this last one is from takingcharge.csh.umn.edu, is spirituality is a broad concept with room for many perspectives. In general, it includes a sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves, and it typically involves a search for meaning in life. As such, it is a universal human experience, something that touches us all. Spirituality.
Okay.
All right. So hold that thought. We'll be right back, and we'll get into our own little personal touches with spirituality.
Great.
All right. Hey, if you're enjoying this episode and want to hear more like it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. Just kidding. We don't have a subscribe button. I mean, we do on YouTube, but I don't care if you press it or not. Though it would make it easier if you want to find this episode, like this show again. It would just pop up on your phone, I think, or some type. I don't know. Just killing time while me and Naeemah take a smoke break. But I think we're back. Okay, enjoy. Balls are getting in the way. And welcome back to the Mind on Recovery podcast, episode 3 on spirituality with my guest star Naeemah.
Hey.
And I am your host Zoe. Okay, so when we left off, we talked about the like textbook definitions of spirituality, which were broad, and now we can go into our own little personal experiences. I'll open up, which I hate doing, but okay. My own, God, I don't know. We've talked about this a few times in meetings and smoke breaks and all that type of stuff. I come from a sort of religious family, Christian, the Samoan side and my black side. We went to church Sundays, not every Sunday, me and my mom, but a lot of Sundays. My grandparents, every single Sunday. We couldn't play outside unless we went to church. Some Sundays we couldn't just play outside. We couldn't play outside, period. That was the Lord's Day. So I've been around it for a while. I'm gonna jump around. So a bunch of experiences happened to me throughout growing up into a young adult, to where I just totally got turned off of religion and spirituality. And it wasn't until I made it back into the rooms where I was able to not necessarily separate religion and spirituality, but give the two things their due space. And knowing that I don't have to be quote unquote religious to be spiritual, and vice versa. I don't have to be spiritual to be religious. I don't know if that works vice versa. But anyway, it wasn't until the rooms of AA where I was like, oh, I don't have to necessarily choose Catholic or Christian or Buddhism. There's a way to get in touch with that thing, that higher power. There's another path with the God of his own understanding, or a God of our own understanding, which is mentioned in our 12-step text for those who don't know. So I've been around religion, got a bad taste in my mouth for whatever reason, but spirituality itself, I don't know, feeling like you're connected, or feeling like I was connected to something bigger than myself. I don't know. I don't know if I could ever remember feeling that until I was in the rooms. Until I was in the rooms and they opened my eyes and brought my attention away from myself, because it was just self in a negative way.
Do you think it was your surrender point that really brought along that connection for you? Was for me anyway.
I kind of, because I do remember the first times I was in the rooms around 2017 and just hearing God and looking up at the God, how they have the steps on the wall and seeing that, and I was like, so what are we gonna do with that? Well, go ahead and try to sell me on that, already building up this resistance.
Right.
But as I sat through it and just shut my mouth, opened my ears, I found a different path. Now, I'm not meditate every day, pray every day type spiritual person right now, but I definitely am more aware of the humanity in people, and that things aren't as always good or evil as they seem. There's a lot of freaking gray area, and at the end of the day, we're all just these spirits, energies that are trying to make it on this earth in these bodysuits, these temporary bodysuits, in my opinion. Um, and yeah, that's my personal experience thus far with spirituality. It is still a growing and evolving thing in my life. Naima, could you please, yeah, go, yeah.
Elaborate on my personal
You
experience.
got it, you got
Okay,
it.
so for me, spirituality, the beginning of that for me was definitely being raised in the church. My family, very Christian, very Christian. My grandparents were first AME, and my mom raised us to be non denominational. But in my experience when I was a youth, I first accepted Jesus into my heart at the age of 12. Now, we were the type of family that did church 6 days a week. Okay, so we're talking about we had church on Sundays at least two, three times a day. And then every day was something, either choir rehearsal, Bible study.
Yeah.
It was always something going on. Now my mom became a minister when I was younger, and so that would be the reason why we were so devoted and into the church so much. When I accepted the Lord into my heart for myself at 12, there's a difference between your family having spirituality and between you yourself accepting God and or accepting the Lord. And so for me, I got baptized, and it was the most amazing experience. I got baptized in a pool in Kent, Washington, and when the pastor put me under the water, when I came up out of the water, I was definitely filled with the Holy Spirit. The light that shone just came out of every orifice of my body, and it was definitely a supernatural experience.
Ooh.
Like, it was incredible. And so for everybody, their experiences aren't the same. That just so happened to be mine. And so going throughout my childhood, or as I progressed in my walk with the Lord, I used to sing in a choir called Shades of Unity.
Okay.
Yes. And we traveled around the United States with this choir and sang in all type of different venues. And I had an experience at 16 in Atlanta, Georgia, singing with this choir. And the experience was my first experience where God spoke through me. I was laying hands on people, and all I could hear was a rushing. It was like a loud roar and a rushing, and I was speaking to people as I laid hands on them. And I don't remember what I said, but later on down the line, those same folks that had that experience with me said that the stuff that I was speaking about actually came to pass. And so for me, my walk with the Lord was just everything until
Bum, bum, bum.
bum bum bum. I made some choices when I was younger. My family was very spiritual, which means I was not able to do secular things when I was younger, and I made a decision to go to my senior prom, which was against the guidelines of our household, and I ended up getting kicked out of the house, and at that point was on my own. And so I guess a separation happened at that point with me and religion. God was always there walking with me, but at that point I kind of was like F everything, because I felt unloved and kind of I don't know,
Yeah.
discarded in a way.
What's secular? If I could jump in real quick.
So secular music would be like hip hop, R&B, all of that. Um, like gospel and everything would be like the
The truth.
no, yeah.
The light.
So just it's anything outside secular. How it was explained to me is anything outside of the Christian realm.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you for that.
Oh, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway,
That separation was there.
yeah, that separation was there. And while God, I've always loved God and I've always prayed and all of that. Once I got out onto my own and started indulging in other and other things, my Christianity, so to speak, kind of got put on the back burner. So for me, my addiction, I've had an addiction for 20 years or so. And after I got kicked out of the house, I picked up drinking. And for many years, I was a functioning alcoholic. And so, anyway, my separation from the spirituality I have now happened then.
Did you? Okay, so yeah, I'm guessing you regained that. Well, not guessing. I already know you regained that connection with that power, higher power, God in your circumstance. You reconnected through recovery, getting some recovery time. Did your understanding of the term spirituality or just your understanding of spirituality in general change at all after getting some recovery time?
So, absolutely. For me, sometimes when we live our lives, or for me, let me speak to my own personal experience. I think that my spirituality, I was looking at from the perspective of what my mom's spirituality was. And I did not necessarily know for myself who God had the power to be in my life, because I was doing things that would separate our relationship with one another. And so yes, in recovery, the definition of spirituality for me became my personal walk and my personal venture with him. It became the listening to the still small voice inside of me, guiding me and leading me in directions that I would never have otherwise gone. Like, woo, God has been good.
That's such an aha moment, what you were saying right there with the like being with getting recovery time, you basically getting your own understanding of spirituality, God, Him, what have you, higher power, getting your own understanding versus just keeping your same old understanding, which was more of your parents' understanding of their God.
And so, for that to make more sense, let me talk about the end of my addiction.
Yeah.
The end of that 20 years of drinking and doing whatever I wanted to do, honey.
Right.
So, at the end of it, what brought me to my surrender point was the last year of my addiction. I had started to lose everything. I lost my car, I lost my children, I lost my house, and then I lost my job, all in that order. And anyway, the day that that was my surrender point, I had thought I was gonna die. I thought my heart was racing and I couldn't stand up, and like everything was spinning, and thought I was gonna die. So my best judgment was like, you should drive yourself to the hospital. What an idiot. But anyway, I get to the hospital and they say I'm all right, and because I'm an addict and I'm so addicted to alcohol, after they said I was okay, I took the EKG machine, the trodes from the EKG machine off, and walked out of there with the people following behind me saying, no, don't go, wait. And Shoot, got my car, drove off, went to the liquor store, got a bottle, and started driving down the street. I was in San Francisco and came to a stoplight, and all of a sudden this car started speeding up behind me, and I didn't know what was wrong with this person. I went, and the car went around me. That car did not see the car coming in the opposite direction towards him, so he had to jump in front of me. But he also didn't see the reason why I had stopped is because there was a car that was stopped in front of me, and so he had to slam on his brakes and I slammed on my brakes, and my car unfortunately didn't stop, and I rammed into the back of him. And because at that point I had no license, no insurance, and my tags were fake. Usually in those situations, I would run or try to figure a way out of it.
Yeah.
But at that point in life, at that very moment, I surrendered and I said, God, I'm tired of running and I'm tired of all of this. And I pulled over and said, let the police come get me. Whatever happens is going to happen. The police did show up that day and they did take my license and my information while I smelled all like alcohol. But for the grace of God, they said, go ahead. And for what I saw that as God saying, there is another way. And so I went into rehab that day, and that was the start of my new life. I went into residential, and anyway, that surrender point for me has been happening on a daily basis ever since.
It's interesting that even at your, I don't know if you would call it your bottom, at your low point, at your point
that was
where,
my bottom, honey.
yeah, at your point where everything was just like chaos, you could still, I don't know, have like the foresight or just the ability to listen out for those cues from your God or those signs or what people in the rooms call God shots. Yeah. Even in your state then, you were still like, what does this mean? Are you saying something?
Yeah, no.
I wasn't nowhere near that. During mine, I was like, yeah, who's home? No one was home. It was just me.
Right.
And I think that's such a difference from where I am today, in that I'm not constantly, but I'm always on the lookout for signs and like, just please show me your will. Help me align my will with your will. Which was interesting when you're saying when you were doing what you wanted to do, which, you know, sound on the surface sounds, yeah, you're an independent, free woman, but at the same time, I think us, I don't know, really think everybody, but with us, I don't know, recovery peoples in general, I think we need to have our will aligned with a greater will. You know, it can't just be ours, because ours don't work. Ours runs us into the dirt.
And so that brings me actually to like the way I just mentioned, that daily surrender, kind of the way that I do that as you talk about our wills and stuff.
Yes.
It's actually a part of the prayer that I say on a daily basis, morning by morning, the third step prayer.
Hello.
Okay.
Say it again.
It's God. I offer myself to thee to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I may help. For thy power, for thy love, and for thy way of life, may I do thy will always. Yes. And it's just that way, just by saying that prayer, is what I feel like helps me line up with the will of God to be able to walk in the ways that he wants me to on a daily basis.
So that's great. Pause that. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. But I don't say a prayer every day. I know I need to. But when I do, I'm taking bits and pieces of that prayer because I knew a part of it. I said a part of it with you, and then that was it. That's all I know. So a little rusty, but mine was something like, please, higher power, release me from the bondage of self so that I may be of service to others. That's what I was saying. Yeah. Like a little Lego put together type prayer. But I think the message is similar in that, like, please help me stop thinking about me,
Me.
me,
Right.
me, me. Like
Right.
it, and because it's so much easier when you don't have to think about yourself and, "Ooh, what do I look like, what do I sound like,
Right.
how am I coming off,"
Right.
and usually how we don't think about all that is helping others, putting
Yeah.
others before ourselves.
Right.
So, along with that prayer, do you do anything else, type of like daily spiritual practices to keep you centered and woosah, and so you don't fly off the handle on someone or snatch a weave, as the kids say, snatch a wig?
Absolutely. So my daily regimen is when I get up in the morning, I have my cup of coffee.
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, got to have my cup of coffee, and I sit down with my word. And what I started when I got out of rehab was I chose to start reading the Bible from the beginning to the end. So I take about two chapters a day, and for me, that kind of helps center me. So reading my word, making sure I have that dedicated time with the Lord to focus in on Him and get me grounded
Right.
and able to, like I said, give back over to Him my will, because my will gets me all jacked up, honey. I
Yeah.
got to be in communication with Him. So
Right on. And then, I guess I should have asked this earlier, but just one of my last questions is, well, I guess you kind of answered it. It was, how has your spirituality changed from your childhood to adulthood? Because going back to, your parents' understanding of him or a higher power, my version as a child was, or I think what I was like running into a wall with, having such a difficult time, was like, I don't, um, the pictures in my childhood home of, like, the white man, or that stereotypical vision of God in the robe, and with the big beard, it wasn't, matching up with, I feel like, me. I was
right,
feeling like that one that you see in the movies and TV shows, um, wasn't really for me, or
right,
working for me, or made to show who I was, a queer person of color love.
right,
So as soon as I started letting that go and was like forming my own version, well, not my own version, but, just relaxing a bit. Once I started relaxing a bit on what my higher power could be as I grew up, um, yeah, things just like kind of took off from there. So yeah, how has spirituality for you changed from childhood to where you are now in adulthood?
So, to answer that, what it used to be like for me is I would ask other people to pray for me, namely my mom. I would ask her about what the word says, or about certain things, or I would read just one scripture and try to navigate from there. But at this point in life, it's where I feel like my higher power is taking me, is to another level. So I am currently in seminary. I attend Numa Theological Seminary, and my
Could you describe seminary for those who don't know? Because I didn't.
so what seminary is, I'm going for eventually my doctorate in theology. And so I am studying God and studying His Word from a whole new perspective, and getting to know Him in a deeper way for myself. Instead of depending on other people's ideas of him. And
Yes.
so I feel like an adult or something. Anyway, but
Right.
but yeah, like I have learned so much. Learning the reasons behind some of the things that we kind of do because it's been passed down generationally.
Right.
Learning the reasons behind and how we got to some of the holidays that we have, and just getting to a deeper understanding of God's love for all of us and what He has for all of us has been amazing. It's a journey and it's a process, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. Yeah.
So it is still like I said, it's still a very much developing
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's not set in
It's
stone.
not set in stone, honey.
Yeah.
It develops on a daily basis.
Hello, it works if you work it.
It works if you work it, darling.
Yes. Okay, so just to we're gonna wrap things up with like gratitude, but before then, we usually do questions and answers. I've been slacking on my Mackin, so I don't have any questions, but I did just want to say this that I think this was a great. I'm already saying I think this was a great interview. We ain't even finished yet, but I just love the fact that you were able to join us today on the topic of spirituality.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, because you are very spiritual. You're very spiritual, and I like to think I'm spiritualish, but more than that, you have a certain type of spirituality with the religion and Christian and God, and I necessarily don't have that type. And still, that we can like mesh well and respect each other's types. I think
Yes,
people
absolutely.
need more of that shit. Like,
Absolutely.
mine doesn't have to look like yours don't have to look like mine, but it's still spirituality. How we get it is how we get it.
Right.
As long as you get it.
And it's a God of our own understandings.
Right.
And it is okay for what you believe to look different than what I believe, or it's okay. All that matters is fundamentally we are protected and covered by a power greater than ourselves,
Right,
honey.
right.
Hunty, and it's keeping us on the straight and narrow, eh?
Hello. Hello. Okay, one thing you're grateful for. I say one thing. If you can do one thing right now, at this very moment, you're grateful for, then I'll go after you.
I am grateful for the gift of change and the gift of growth through change. Yeah.
I'm sitting on it. I don't want to move on. The gift of growth through change.
Yeah. So being stagnant, or not remaining stagnant, but sometimes we get comfortable in where we're at
Yeah.
in life. And with that comfortability comes complacency. And in order for us to grow as individuals, we have to walk out on to the next thing. And not sit in complaint about what today has to hold if we're doing nothing to make our tomorrow greater. You know,
Hello.
like I'm a firm believer in the progress of moving forward, and then capturing each and everything that is wonderful about where you are, because if you're doing everything right, you won't be the same place you are today tomorrow. So did that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I am extremely grateful for the growth that's happening in everybody's lives around me, and I'm grateful for being a part of so many people's growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a word? Anyway,
Growth.
never mind.
Yeah. It is today.
It is today, honey.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Wow, that was good. Damn. Grateful and gratitude. I am grateful for my current program. And that would be the 12-step program. Though it might not be as strong as it can be, I still feel like I use it on a daily basis with things like, especially when things get tough, like coworkers passing out of nowhere, feeling like I'm doing something wrong when I maybe not, or just like all these questions and whatnot. I still go back to the training that we got in the Knolls and continue to get and reach into that little tool bag and you're like, you know what? I'm feeling weird. Let me go take my ass on a hike.
Yeah.
You know, like there's the excuses are there's like they're running out by the day of maybe feeling negative and just continuing to feel negative. I can't just let it be as easily as I did in my addiction. I can't just say, you know what, I guess there's nothing I can do about that. There is something I can do about
today,
that.
Right. There is something.
Yeah. And recovery, this 12-step program has taught us that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so grateful for you, Zoe.
Right,
I'm so grateful watching just you, like the development, honey, over the last 20 months.
Yeah.
How many?
18.
18 months?
Yeah, I think I just hit 18.
Yeah, 18. Oh, congratulations, darling.
Thank you.
I just love it.
Yeah, a year and a half.
I just love it.
I gotta go get my check.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Call the Knolls. They can send you one.
Ooh.
Yeah, they sent me mine in the mail.
They're gonna be like, where you been?
That part.
Yeah.
They're gonna ask you to speak. So, but yeah, no, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of everything that you're doing and just all being the mover and the shaker you are. Oh my gosh. It's just wonderful.
Right back at you, like, you know, okay, I know we're running off, but you know how many people went to the Knolls, which is our treatment center, Serenity Knolls in Marin. Please look it up if you need help. You know how many people were in there and just like, what are the odds that you and I, not to say we're the only, but you and I, not only stuck together, but have continued the sobriety thing. Yeah. When so many people have fallen by the wayside or just put it down or maybe even just moved on. Right. What are the odds that we're like, I don't know, we're still in this?
I feel like it's a God shot. I feel like everything happens for a reason, and the people that we meet, you never know who you might meet that is meant to be a part of your life for the long run and for the long haul, you know?
Right.
And so keep your eye out.
Yeah. I definitely did not think the first time I met this young lady right here, I would still be seeing her 18 months later.
Right, that part.
Yeah. But with that, thank you so much, Miss Naeemah.
No problem.
For joining us.
Thank you.
Yes,
it was a pleasure to be on.
No problem. Please come back and yeah. I don't know. We'll do like a follow-up episode or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. And that was episode 3 with the effervescent Naeemah. I kept having to stop myself from blurting out her name or her last name, which is why you heard a censor beep in the very beginning. Anywho, I'm tired. I left this for the last minute. So I should be getting ready for bed, and instead I'm trying to finish this and send it out. But anywho, I hope anyone and everyone got something out of this, even the woohoo or the woo-woo deniers. I hope my crystal gang got their stones recharged, not that crystal. And as usual, I hope you will all join us again in 2 weeks for our next episode, breaking down grief. I'll have my Kleenex locked and loaded for that one. Namaste, my fellow siblings of the moon. Namaste.